JMats here, GenerationD20.com, and this is the first in the 12 Days of Drafting series. Kind of doing a little countdown throughout the holidays. WotC has a bunch of kind of cool 64-player drafts available for their winter celebration. And so we're starting out here with just a current Innistrad draft, but you're going to have a wide variety throughout, exploring some things that I haven't even really drafted myself, Shadow War and Ravnica, and as many of them as I can get in. So, but we're starting here today with Innistrad, which I am fairly comfortable with, and that's a pretty weak pack. For me, I see the Priest, which is decent removal. That's probably the best card there. Rebuke, Ironsmith, Lumbernut's not bad, but I think I go with the Priest and see where it takes me. Well, and as those of you who have watched Draft Beer before know, Divine Reckoning is something of a pet card for us. And, you know, seeing it second pick means I could go for that lovely deck that we built in the past. So I think I'm going to. It hurts to be passing a Brimstone Volley, but hopefully either Doom Traveler or Elder Cather will table. That's what we'll shoot for. So yeah, how did we build that deck? I guess we wanted to be in black and red for Rage Throwers and all of those. What I would think is maybe Silent Departure here. You know, that's pushing me in a different color. But just for tempo, I guess I could take the Spectral Rider, which would secure me in that color. It's a hard one to pick. Yeah, I think I'll take the Spectral Rider. I don't really want to add a color until I see whether or not I can take the Divine Reckoning to the Promised Land. Here it's kind of a tough pick between the Blazing Torch and Moment of Heroism. The Pilgrim would also be an option if I wanted to go more that route. Village Cannibals fits the Divine Reckoning theme, so that would be a possibility as well. Well, when we're successful with it, we went all in. But, I think a little bit of removal. We have to be able to buy time. I guess the same can be said for Moment of Heroism. Gains life, buys time. And Tree of Redemption is probably the best thing there and what I have to take. Yeah, so the deck isn't really coming together the way that I would like. Here it's kind of like, do I go Smite the Monstrous or the Selfless Cather? I kind of like the Cather, especially in conjunction with the Sentry. So I think I'll take that. Maybe take the Rebuke. And just see what the deck becomes. I don't think forcing the Divine Reckoning is going to really get me where I want to be. Although out of this pack, I don't see why I wouldn't take the Cannibals. And I still have the chance to pick up some things like Elder Cather and other cards that'll make Divine Reckoning better without going all in on the archetype. Don't know if I really wanted to end up in green-white, but I wouldn't say any of those cards mean I have to be in green. Tree of Redemption's good, but not great. Although looking at my deck. I'm not sure if I am really holding any great cards. And it's a slow draft. Of course, we're playing against About to Rock and Double X, Double Shift, Double X, San Francisco Giants, and some guy named Zepper. Popples. I mean, this is a loaded queue if I've ever seen one, so look out. Okay, I'm just going to, God, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people playing mill decks that use Ghostly Possessions. I guess I could see, I think I already took a Rally the Peasants, I could see that. I'll take the Traveler's Amulet if the deck ends up changing desperately. Or going in a, dramatically, not desperately. Changing desperately. Please change. I think I'm the only desperate one here, not my deck. Although give it time. Don't want to play the Purebloods. Okay, so an on-killer 5/5 flyer that also helps humans, I think we have to take that. Bonds of Faith would be nice, but it's not a 5/5 flyer. There is a Falkenrath Noble, so that's intriguing if nothing else. And I don't see myself passing anything that solid. I mean, Silent Departure and Geist Flame are solid, but those are colors that I haven't even attempted to explore, so I think the Noble's a good pick. Here, I think the Slayer of the Wicked, really that's a pretty good lineup there. 3 creatures that can also be removal. I think Slayer of the Wicked is the safest of the picks there. And he's a human. So green might have gotten demoted, we'll have to see. The thing I like about the Noble and the Cannibals is that they go with that good old Divine Reckoning theme that we had so much fun with. Then again, here's some very solid green. Travel Preparations, Prey Upon. Maybe we take the Travel Preparations. I guess we could splash black for that. Yeah, let's take the Travel Preparations. See where it takes us, which is to another Travel Preparations. We'll have to up our emphasis on some cheap creatures if we're going heavy on Travel Preparations, but I can do that. There's still a lot of picks to go. And here, I think the Spidery Grasp, it's always a nice little combat trick. So, Tree of Redemption is, I don't know, I guess it probably makes the deck over something like a Woodland Sleuth. Even if it can't attack, it'll buy you time. We don't have a whole lot of evasion, although an intimidating Spectral Rider with a bunch of counters on it wouldn't be a bad strategy. We're at 11 creatures, not necessarily 11 creatures that we want to play. And so I guess the Pilgrim probably is in. Unburial Rites would be another possibility, but for the aggro Travel Preparations build, Pilgrim would be more beneficial. Good thing about that also is if we can get just a ton of guys out there and then get into our Noble Divine Reckoning combo, it could be the game there. It's just fun to have that possibility on the board, especially if probably want to, I don't know, Midnight Haunting, something like that. Gets a little bit of an added emphasis when you have that combo available. Corpse Lunge, if we don't get any removal. Right now we're looking at Rebuke and Slayer of the Wicked, and then of course Divine Reckoning. I guess the Priest. So we have some removal. We're not real light on it. Unruly Mob is totally acceptable in this deck. And the Village Cannibals we'll have to see. I may be doing a tiny splash just for Noble, although I would love to get a second Noble to really set up the combo. And travel preparations, kind of thinking, who do I want to put it on? I'll take another Village Cannibals. I do have quite a few humans, so there's that to be said for them. And Ranger's Guile is not bad. It really isn't. It has its place. Riot Devils even has its place. Although typically that place is in the sideboard, but Villagers of Estwald, if they never flip, is just a Riot Devils. And Riot Devils doesn't die to a Slayer of the Wicked, right? See, there's good things about it. Okay, this pack is very strong white. Why don't I ever get something like this in sealed? That would be pretty awesome. But there's dead weight. That would be some more removal, cheap removal. Not passing that much to get it, which is the other benefit. Heretic's Punishment can be bomby, but I think we take the dead weight. Okay, and a second Divine Reckoning. Why not? I mean, Fiend Hunter is probably better. We'll take the Divine Reckoning. Well, we're already going down this sordid path. We might as well go all the way down it. So in that case, Boneyard Worm actually has a chance of being pretty big. So I think we take the Boneyard Worm. Now it would be nice at this point to have like a mask or something, because we're going to want to protect our surviving creatures. Here we're at 18 creatures, so I don't know, I like the villagers. I guess I'll take the torch. I like Smite the Monstrous also. We don't have many answers for big creatures, but what's not going to make the deck? Currently, I would say Ranger's Guile doesn't. Corpse Lunge doesn't. Tree of Redemption probably doesn't. Selfless Cather might not. Get this down to 26. And the only thing we have double in is white. So we might not need that if we just run some extra land, which like 17 land. Probably could get rid of the Woodland Sleuth. And that's a tough call. Not to mention we just got some more good creatures. The Bonds of Faith doesn't do much against us. So I think I'd rather have the Shepherd in a deck with double travel preparations. Which makes me think maybe like Outcast goes. because we're not really looking for something that late. And I don't know what goes next. We're down to 15 creatures. I guess 24 with 2 pilgrims. So 16 land could be okay. Don't need a whole lot of black. Could maybe play 4 swamps and 6 forests and 6 plains. I don't know. Or 3, 7, because we definitely, I mean, if we have a pilgrim in our opening hand, we want to be able to cast it. Okay. What's more beneficial? The return value from an Eldercather or the number of creatures from Midnight Haunting? I think number of creatures from Midnight Haunting plus evasion, travel prep up a couple of those guys, and it can just get nasty. Lumbernut could be fun. Oh, I think I have to take Lumbernut for the deck, which is now making me think if I'm doing that, maybe I don't play the Village Cannibals and really make it just a splash for the Noble. But yeah, Lumbernut's too good, getting bonuses from their guys who die and our guys who die. Voiceless Spirit. Have to see whether that is better than something. Can't believe a Reckless Waif is still around, although I think Feeling of Dread is probably more dangerous to us. So let's say we turn 1 Pilgrim, turn 2... Really, in this deck, Unruly Mob might be the guy to lose. Or we get rid of the Dead Weight. Or sideboard in the Dead Weight if we need it. There's something to be said for, well, but I was going to say there's something to be said for not playing the 6-drop, but at the same time the 6-drop could very well on its own be the winner. We have so many humans that that equipment actually could be really buff. Pretty late villagers. We're going to have a tough time cutting this deck down. And although we have 2 Divine Reckonings, I guess the question is, do we have enough other stuff to play? Like, are we better off with it or without it? Because if I was just building an aggressive green-black or green-white deck, I think I have most of the pieces I would want to be able to do that. Without having to add a 3rd color and add a board clearer. Where does this put me at? So how would I win with this deck? I would get out early creatures. I would travel preparations on them, and then attack in. How would I lose with this if they are able to kill my best creatures? So I could protect myself with something like a Ranger's Guile. I don't have that many creatures that get the bonus from the mass death, and I'm probably going to be outnumbering among creatures. So as sad as it is to pass up on that opportunity, I think my deck is actually better this way. But if it bombs, I have no problem. I mean, absolutely no problem sideboarding into more of a Divine Reckoning, Falkenrath Noble. Because I guess the other thing is, I would have an early enough game that I could hold the ground for quite a while, including something like Tree of Redemption. Just buy time until I win, but if I only have a single win condition, I can't get it off. Yeah, I probably just go with the aggressive deck here. So if I can get Pilgrim into Villagers, and then, or Pilgrim into Midnight Haunting, into Double Travel Preparation, then on turn 3 I could be attacking for 6 through the sky. That would be pretty sweet. And the Pitchfork helps 3, 10 of my guys a lot. Well, it gives the double bonus. It helps all my guys a lot, actually. Getting a lumber knot with a pitchfork who's just growing and growing. That could definitely work. I like the Ranger's Guile because, like I said, once you start throwing those travel preparation counters on, last thing you want is for it to die. Hamlet Captain is an interesting thing for putting those travel preparations on, because normally attacking with him he just dies on his own. Okay, this is the deck, and I'll see you in round 1.